Now, there is a chief who is the brother-in-law to a Liberal MP on Cape Breton Island. Did you speak with that chief in respect of this buyback? Just a yes or no, please.
Mr. Speaker, as you know, the Mass Casualty Commission report...
That's not what I asked, Minister. I asked whether you spoke with a chief.
We're talking about guns that kill people. So, of those 12,000, you said they are law-abiding citizens because they've given them back. How many criminals have come forward to sell their guns back?
Since the Liberal government took power, how much is violent crime up, sir?
Well, I can assure the member that crime overall is generally on the downward trend across Canada.
It's, I'll help you. It's 55%. Again, just a number. What are homicides up?
Well, I'll make it very straightforward question here. Do you know the leading cause of death for children in BC?
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
I would now like to welcome our guests. There are many of them, and they are all important. Let's begin with the Honourable Gary Anandasangari, who is a Member of Parliament and Minister of Public Safety. Ms. Erin O'Gorman, the President of the Canada Border Services Agency. Danielle Rogers, Director of the Canadian Security Intelligence Services. Anne Kelly, Commissioner of the Correctional Service of Canada. Tricia Geddes, Deputy Minister of the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness, Joanne Blanchard, Chairperson of the Parole Board of Canada, and Michael Duhem, the Commissioner of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Minister, 600 foreign nationals were set to be deported. 70% of them committed violent crimes, including sex assaults. Where are they?
Thank you, Mr. Caputo. Thank you for that question. As you're aware, the Canada Border Services Agency is tasked with removals of those who are deemed to be
Minister, I'm sorry, we don't need a preamble. We just need an answer. Where are the 600 people who were set to be deported? Maybe I'll ask this way. Do you know where they are? Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond to this question in whole. So, as you're aware, the CBSA is tasked with the removal of those who are inadmissible to Canada. In this particular case, we have been ensuring that removals have been taking place at an unprecedented rate.
I asked about the 600 people, Minister. I didn't ask about removals at an unprecedented rate. Do you know where they are? Yes or no?
Well, there is a set of...
I'll take that as a no, Minister. Let's move on.
Let's be clear, Mr. Caputo. There are a number of individuals who are in the process of being removed. So of the 600 you talk about, there is a breakdown, and I'd like to invite Ms. Gorman to respond to this.
You are the Minister. You are the expert. The Globe and Mail reported 600 people are missing. You're the Minister. You're expected to know this. The buck stops with you. We have 6 minutes. You don't know. Let's move on. You promised 1,000 new border officers for the CBSA. How many have been hired?
So right now, as you're aware, we are in the process of ensuring that the 1,000 new CBSA officers will be trained appropriately.
Again, Minister, you're answering questions I'm not asking. I asked how many were hired. Simple number.
Mr. Caputo, I'm not here for your TikTok videos, okay? Like I'm here to.
No, and Minister, I'm here to answer.
I'm here to answer questions.
Mr. Minister, let's just these conversations are important, but they need to be understandable, including through interpretation. So I have some tolerance to bilateral interactions, which is fine. That can in some cases speed up and increase the efficiency of the conversation. But if it leads to people not being able to understand the flow of the conversation, I'll have to intervene.
I'll commence. First of all, TikTok is banned in Canada. Second, I don't have an account. I'm here for Canadians. I'm here for answers. You can obfuscate. I will continue to press forward. RCMP didn't know how many of the 1,000 officers that they promised were hired. Just a number. How many?
So I will invite the RCMP
No,
Commissioner
I want to hear it from you,
answer
Minister.
this
From
question.
you, Minister.
But I'm not responsible for hiring of the officers.
You're not. I beg your pardon. You are the minister.
I'm sorry. This is not useful because it is obviously impossible for anyone listening to the interpretation to understand the flow of the conversation. So, and again, we want to have a dense, a speedy, content-full conversation, but it has to be understandable. So please, let's make sure that this is happening.
Mr. Chair, I'll be very clear. I'm asking the minister these questions. The buck stops with him. I'm not asking for him to defer to anybody. If he doesn't know the answer, just say it. Just the other day on a recording, he said, "Don't ask me to explain the logic to you." He was perfectly capable of saying it then. He's capable of saying it now. Minister, do you know the number of the 1,000 promised RCMP officers? Yes or no?
Speaker, the RCMP are preparing to hire 1,000, including ensuring that training facilities at Depot are equipped, because this will be solely for federal policing, and the work at Depot to ensure that the right modules, the right level of training is in place is currently being prepared, and as soon as they're able to recruit, they will be hired and they will be on our streets.
Okay, that is a zero, I take it then, because you wouldn't give us a number. Now, Mr., you said in leaked audio that the gun buyback wouldn't work. Do you stand by that?
That is not what I said, Mr. Caputo.
Well, you could have fooled me, Minister. You actually said, quote, don't ask me to explain the logic to you. You talked about how it's only been 3 weeks on the job. I'm not an expert on this, right? I'm not an expert. The tone that you said was that this wouldn't work. It was being done for politics. Do you stand by that, yes or no?
That is not correct.
Do you believe that the buyback will work?
The buyback is right now being implemented. There's a pilot right now in Cape Breton.
That is not what I asked.
Mr. Chair, I would like I think the fair way to do this is that I get adequate time to respond to questions posed. So if I may, the buyback program is currently being implemented. There's a pilot right now in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. From all accounts, the registration appears to be going well. We are ironing out any logistical issues that may arise.
Okay. That registration,
the program
Minister,
will be
let's
expanded
talk
across
about that.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order. I'm sorry to disrupt, but I really want to hear the answer, whether answer is that you like or not, but I want to learn, and I have the same right as any other members here and the people who are watching. So I appreciate if you can leave the time. And plus, I want to add, Mr. Chair, that TikTok is not banned in Canada. It's available on the app stores. Thank you.
That is...
Mr. Chair, I'm asking questions here. This is my time. This is Canadians' time. Mr. Chair, I will not be interrupted.
Your time has stopped, Mr. Caputo, so what I'm going to say is not going to reduce your time available. But I think the point is that we want the conversations to be again dense, to be as forthcoming and as useful as they can be, but they cannot overlap. So if I hear two people speak at the same time, it must be impossible for interpreters to do their job.
Mr. Chair, I will reclaim my time, Canadians' time, when the minister is going on and on for speaking. I understand the Liberals want to protect the Liberal minister. I'm not here for that. I'm here for answers. Let's keep going here. You spoke about Cape Breton Island. Now, there is a chief who is the brother-in-law to a Liberal MP on Cape Breton Island. Did you speak with that chief in respect of this buyback? Just a yes or no, please.
Speaker, as you know, the Mass Casualty Commission report...
That's not what I asked, Minister. I asked whether you spoke with a chief.
Mr. Chair, I would like the opportunity to respond. The Mass Casualty Commission report indicated that governments need to do everything in their powers to ensure
I asked whether you
Mr. Caputo,
Mr. Chair, he doesn't get to talk out the clock. He has to answer. I asked whether he spoke with the chief, Chair. That's it. He doesn't get to talk about turkey basters or whatever we're going to talk about here. He has to speak about the questions he's given, and I won't stand for this as somebody representing Canadians to let him talk out the clock. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair,
Point
but
of
I won't
order,
do that.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Isasi?
I would like to remind Mr. Caputo that we all represent Canadians around this table, and it's important for us to actually have an opportunity to hear from the minister. This session is not just for theatrics. All of us here want to listen from the minister, have a better appreciation of what is being done. So I'd appreciate it if Mr. Caputo would kindly provide the minister the necessary time to provide comprehensive responses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You have another 10 seconds, Mr. Caputo.
Did you speak with that chief, yes or no?
Mr. Chair, the Mass Casualty Commission report in Nova Scotia indicated that governments need to do everything in their powers to get assault-style
You spoke with a Liberal insider.
That's it. Thank you so much for the first. There'll be other rounds.
First of all, given that you were interrupted repeatedly, Minister, is there anything else that you would like to add to what you've previously stated?
Sure, and thank you, Mr. Sassi, for that question. And let me just start by talking about the 600 individuals in question that are the subject of removal. So CBSA has removed more people last year than many years ago. So over 20,000 people are in the inventory to be removed this year. Over 18,000 were removed last year. So far this year, we've removed more than 500 people with serious inadmissibility or criminality. CBSA prioritizes those who have served sentences for the most violent offenses. 600 people that is cited, CBSA has closed since closed 41 of those specific warrants. Furthermore, 61 of those 500 continue to serve sentences for convictions that are the subject of the removal. 48% of those people have been charged with minor nonviolent offenders. So of the 600, about 48, about half of them have been charged with minor non-violent offenses, and this includes mischief, failing to comply with conditions. This does not pose a danger to Canadians. To be clear, CBSA is looking for them. They have warrants for them, and we will continue to enforce.
Thank you very much, Minister. And judging by the legislation that is coming before the House, you are certainly keeping very, very busy. Thank you for that, and thank you also to your officials. I was wondering if I could start off with, you noted in your opening remarks that we have experienced a 99% reduction in goods, I believe fentanyl, going from our border to the States. That's a very significant number. It's one I had not heard previously. I was wondering if you could kindly elaborate on that.
I believe I was speaking about movement of people south of the border, irregular movement of people south of the border. But let me just take this opportunity to talk about fentanyl. As you're aware, the assertions made by the President of the United States relating to fentanyl previously is not consistent with the impacts that we've seen. First and foremost, we know that fentanyl impacts all Canadians. Every single community in Canada is impacted by it. I'm personally impacted by it through someone I've known for many years who passed away. And it is a scourge of fentanyl that's impacting North America as a whole. So the assertions made by the President in terms of fentanyl going to the United States via Canada is categorically incorrect. Notwithstanding that, we've made some incredible, I would say, once-in-a-lifetime investments in border security, including $1.3 billion towards Black Hawk helicopters, including drones, including other towers that will ensure that measures to curtail the flow of fentanyl in both directions is contained. Bill C-12 that we introduced yesterday will, again, give additional tools to law enforcement to attack fentanyl on all directions, including those coming overseas, as well as the precursors. As well as the 1,000 new RCMP CBSA officers will ensure that our 10,000 plus personnel at the border is strengthened even further. I do want to note a couple of days ago, the president said, but fentanyl, no, it's not over. I think it's never going to be over, frankly. But they've done, and as Canada's worked hard, and they've done a much better job than in the past. So it's a reflection, I think, of where the sentiment is. May not be accurate because we don't believe that fentanyl has been going from Canada.
I just want to pick up on what the last question was, because there seems to be a bit of a contradiction. So you have mentioned to my colleague that you would not ban the SKS. However, it's still under review whether you would ban the purchase and sale of the SKS. Can you please clarify?
Sure. At this point, there is no plan to ban the SKS. Okay, there's no. But, however, the expert panel, there is an expert panel, as you're aware, as part of Bill C-21, that will, that if they do recommend movement on it, then we will make.
Okay, so this isn't a permanent promise. This is just a for now promise that we're not banning the SKS for now.
The commitment that I've made is that there's 2,500 prohibited firearms as part of the 3 sets of orders in council that are the subject of the buyback program. So those will.
Okay, I'm going to move on because I just wanted to clarify that, and then I'm going to move on because I want to touch on a few things that have already been said. 600 foreign nationals, they've committed violent crimes, I believe, in Canada, and they're missing. You could not say where they are. Do you know where one of them is?
Yeah, I can tell you there's 61 of them that are currently serving time.
61?
61.
I'm talking about the 600 that we don't know where they are. They're lost. So of the 600 that are lost, that we don't know where they are, do we have a clue on 1, 2, 3, 10? What's the number that we know where they are now of those 600?
Madam Kirkland, 61 of them are in detention, are serving time right now. 41 of them, their warrants. They're no longer, the warrants have been closed. 48% of the 600 have not committed a violent offense or have not, so there are offenses like mischief, failing to comply, and so on. So
we're still looking. We're still looking for them.
We're still trying to locate them. Yes.
Safety is of utmost priority. You are the public safety minister. It is your job to keep the public safe. Would that be correct?
I've indicated from the outset that is my responsibility.
Perfect.
Yes.
So you've mentioned several times that Canadians are lining up to sell their guns back to the government in the gun confiscation plan. Police associations, experts, and even you have admitted that this program won't work. So what I'm curious, you said in your testimony 12,000 firearms have been removed from the streets, and we're talking about guns that kill people. So of those 12,000, you said they are law-abiding citizens because they've given them back. How many criminals have come forward to sell their guns back? Just a number.
So let me just clarify. The 12,000 that have been returned are part of the business buyback program.
Okay.
So they're business owners, part of the phase 1
Okay, thank you. That answers that question. Are there any criminals who have lined up to hand you their guns back?
We don't typically do criminal background checks on the returns.
Oh, I see. So do you really believe any criminal will hand over an illegally obtained gun that was used in a crime or that is being planned to use to hurt people? Do you believe it? It's just a simple yes or no?
The compensation program is meant to ensure that over 180,000 prohibited firearms, which includes AR-15s.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt, sir.
Well,
sir, you're not answering the question.
I'm sorry I have to interrupt too. Until now, it was going quite smoothly. The interpretation was possible, but now I'm finding that we are entering into a world in which it might become impossible for some to understand the flow of the conversation. So please, let's revert to a smooth and reasonable and useful flow of conversation. Your time has stopped, and you have one more minute.
Okay, for my last minute and 11 seconds, I would like to move on to public safety. Right now, people don't feel safe. More than 51% of Canadians, as reported in this National Post article, do not feel safe in their communities anymore. Right now, Durham Regional Police, Niagara Police, they're now asking us to deal with have a 9 p.m. routine to shut down our lives, lock our doors. Is this really the Canada that you envisioned when you became the public safety minister?
Look, the issues around public safety are critically important to Canadians. It impacts all of our families.
Are they important to you?
Well, I think if you will let me answer the question, Ms. Kirkland, so you posed a question, please give me the courtesy to answer it properly. The issues of public safety are critically important. Every single one of us in this room, every single one of us who ran for office and were elected here have a responsibility towards ensuring the safety and security of all Canadians. And that's what we're doing here. We may have different perspectives on how to approach this, but I can assure you that as a minister, from day one, I've been working to ensure that safety and security of Canadians, whether it's at the border, whether it's
I'm sorry, Minister, we'll have to stop here.
Filming content for social media instead of listening to the very comprehensive answers that you're giving, including on those 600 people. So thank you for your very comprehensive answer. And I'm going to give you another chance, please, Minister, as well as Madame O'Gorman, to talk about expanding the powers of CBSA and training. I'm curious to hear the answer about those topics.
Thank you. Maybe I'll invite President O'Gorman, and then I'll follow up.
Sure, thank you. So CBSA will carry out whatever mandate is given to them. The notion of CBSA officers seeing people sneak in to the country and not being able to get them, I'm not sure that's happening on a regular basis. And it was raised here that it's happening in rural areas, and those aren't necessarily near ports of entry, but certainly the constraints of apprehending somebody who is close by are not quite as rigid as maybe is being communicated. Our border officers at our ports of entry are quite busy, and so just if the mandate were to expand, we need them to also continue. So it would be a resourcing issue that we would have to deal with, as well as training. And so our officers are extremely well trained. They're armed. They understand the law. However, patrolling between the ports and applying different laws would require more training of some kind. And I'll just say, finally, the responsiveness of the RCMP, police of jurisdiction in particular, and specifically the RCMP, is extremely high. And so it was mentioned hours to respond. If somebody has seen somebody crossing between the ports, that hasn't been my experience. That is not the briefings that myself and my colleague get as we talk regularly about flows of people north and south regularly and irregularly. And so every day, less so, but over the past several years, we have had RCMP officers and other police of jurisdiction bring to CBSA ports of entry people they have apprehended, and we process them from there. So to the extent that we see that happening regularly, I would say the system is working.
Since the Liberal government took power, how much is violent crime up, sir?
Well, I can assure the member that crime overall is generally on the downward trend across Canada.
It's I'll help you. It's 55%. Again, just a number. What are homicides up since the Liberal government took power?
In the city of Toronto, it's down 51% from this time last year.
That's not what I asked, sir. I asked how much homicides are up. 29% since your government took power. What about sexual assaults? What are they up since your government took power? Just a number, please.
Mr. Caputo, this is not a test. Okay, so let me just suggest that overall, general trend of crime has been going down. Having said that, I think there's a lot of work that we need to do. There are areas that are of concern, and as a government, we're bringing forward legislation to strengthen issues such as bail.
Minister, I asked for numbers. Okay, you are the minister, so with all due respect, we can ask these questions on behalf of Canadians and do it in good faith. What's extortion up since your government took power? Just a number, please.
Again, let me just say that overall there's some some type of crimes that are on the uptick.
330%, Minister. Auto theft. What is that up since your government took power? Just a number, please.
It's down 19% nationwide. It's down 25% in Ontario and 22% in Quebec.
And it's up 25.33% since your government took power. What about hate crimes? MP Lloyd talked to you about that. What are they up since your government took power? Just a number, please.
Hate crime has, since particularly October 7th of 2023, it's been up significantly.
258% in the last 10 years. And you still haven't met with some of the congregations. How about gun crime? Not the last year, the last 10 years. What is it up, Minister? Just a number, please.
Well, let me suggest, Mr. Caputo, if you're serious about ensuring the safety and security of Canadians and addressing issues of gun crimes.
That's not what I asked,
We need to have
sir.
a holistic approach.
Minister,
Attention. Monsieur Caputo.
Careful, please, Mr. Caputo. I'm going to say it in French this time. We are starting to slide a little bit. We have to avoid having an overlap of conversations because then it's impossible for the interpreters to work.
I prosecuted gun crimes on a number of occasions. Please, I understand the impacts of gun crimes. I've looked victims in the eye. Victims who I think will want to know that the minister knows that gun crime has soared 130% since Liberals took office. How about
Mr. Caputo,
no, I'm asking the question here, Minister. This is my time on behalf of Canadians to ask questions, sir. How about in Toronto? Total violent crime. How much is it up since 2015?
Mr. Caputo, I, in my previous role, unfortunately have had to bury a number of young people who lost their lives to gun violence. There isn't a person in this room that will say that gun violence of any form is acceptable. What we need to do here in this Parliament and this committee and across party lines is to have a mature conversation about the impacts of guns.
And I am happy
without
to do
politicizing
that, Minister.
it, and
Minister,
without.
we have very limited time. I have one more question for you. Is Toronto safe?
Mr. Caputo, I represent Scarborough, Guildwood, Rouge Park. It is a very safe community. Around the city of Toronto, it is safe. There are incidents that have happened that may appear to make it unsafe, but I can tell you from the Toronto Police Service, homicides are down 51% from last year. Shooting and firearms discharge are down 40% from this time last year. Overall, for example, auto theft are down above 22%.
Mr. Au does need some time. Thank you.
You've got 30 seconds, MP Au.
Minister, as the public safety minister, are you aware of the diversion of so-called safe supply drugs to the black market in BC?
Mr. Au, there are issues that are happening in BC, and a lot of it falls under the jurisdiction of the province, Mr. Au.
Do you know the magnitude of the problem? Do you know how much money flowed into the hands of the criminals?
Mr. Au, the issues around illegal drugs.
I'm sorry
fentanyl,
to interrupt, but time is up.
So, Minister, in my community of Oakville West, organized crime, including auto theft and home invasions, is a concern for many constituents. I have had numerous conversations at the doors about these incidents, and although there is a decline in the numbers, I always say the crime is not a partisan issue, and even a little crime is still crime. So, Minister, could you please speak to the success of the National Crime Prevention Strategy in addressing these types of organized and violent crimes?
Look, I think the overall issue, and I said this at the outset, is that the general trend towards crime is lower across Canada. Certain types of crimes are still trending up. What's important is that people not just being safe, but also feeling that they're safe. And the responsibility, I think, of government, including, particularly myself, is to make sure that the sense of safety and security is there, which means that we have to bring in measures that strengthen that confidence. And that starts, in part, I think, with the investments I talked about, making sure that both at the CBSA and RCMP level, there's additional resources, there's additional tools for law enforcement across Canada. There's changes to the criminal code which is the sole responsibility of the federal government, which Minister Fraser will be bringing forward, and he already brought forward C9 in terms of addressing issues around hate, and he will be bringing forward legislation around bail reform and so on. What I think we need to do is leverage this with making sure that the provinces do their part, and many provinces are. Some are still falling short, so making sure that there's adequate judicial resources, there's adequate training for JPs and judges when it comes to the interpretation of the criminal code, making sure that there's remand facilities that are available at the local level to be able to remand. So that requires both the provincial response, but in terms of men and women in uniform, it's much more of a provincial plus a municipal response.
Sorry to interrupt.
Minister, I want to continue with my question. So do you know the magnitude of the problem that the safer supply drugs are being resold to the criminals?
Mr. Rao, I recognize the deep impact of drugs, illegal drugs, including what you're suggesting, which is selling of safe supply, has on communities. It is abhorrent. I've had the chance to meet with many law enforcement, even including British
Minister,
Columbia.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you know the magnitude? So how many pills were being get into the hands of the criminals? How much money flowed into the hands of the criminals? Do you know that?
Mr. Rao, with respect to British Columbia, I do not know that.
Okay. Now, again, do you know that the police chief of London, Mr. Tai Tran, said that the safer supply program are fueling the illegal drug trade? Are you aware of that?
I've had the opportunity to meet with the police services in London. The chief, when I visited there, was not in London, so I wasn't able to meet with him, but I met with his deputies as well as a number of his superintendents. We talked about some of the challenges that they face in their downtown, including on issues
Minister,
around safe supply.
at the time, I have to interrupt. So clearly, you do not have the information. So is it not your obligation to be informed?
Mr. Rao, I am well aware of the challenges that are faced by our main streets, many of our municipalities. I've been working with the fentanyl czar. Even yesterday, I met with the fentanyl czar and several organizations relating to mental health. I have visited many of the downtowns of incidences that you're talking about, and I deeply understand the challenges that we face. It is a culmination of issues that congregate.
Okay, again, sorry for the interruption. Now, this is an article in a medical journal, JAMA. And in this article, it reported that the safer supply program was associated with increased opioid-related hospitalizations, expanded illegal supply, and increased demand of illicit drugs. So are you aware of this report?
I did not personally read that report, no, I did not.
So you are not on top of the issue. So how could...
Mr. Rao, you're showing me a piece of paper. It doesn't. You don't even cite what the article is. You don't cite who the author is. You don't cite who the researcher is. You don't cite with which institution is attached to it, and you're asking me to comment on it.
So is this not your obligation?
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. MPL. This is becoming difficult to understand and to follow. You have another 2 minutes and a half.
So is it not your obligation and your responsibility to be informed and be on top of the issues so that Canadians will not suffer from the illegal supply of drugs on the streets?
Mr. Rao, I invite you to go through my itinerary over the last 4.5 months. Every major city, every mid-sized municipality I've visited. I have visited the downtowns. I have visited many of the areas where there are challenges, including on drug use, on fentanyl use, on meth use, and I wholly understand the challenges. Let's not.
Let's not question each other's political problem.
Mr. Rao,
sorry.
If I may,
Mr. Minister and MPL, both of you are overlapping, and I understand we want to have a free flow of conversation. but sometimes it becomes impossible to understand and to interpret. So I will ask both of you to make sure we understand.
Yeah, I'm particularly talking about the safer supply program. It's because of the exemption given by your government that these drugs are being flowed into the hands of criminals. More people die of overdose. More young people are being, get into drugs, and the money that flow into the hands of criminals are making the problems even worse. And the Canadians are feeling that they are not being safe in their community. So how could you not take responsibility?
Mr. Rao, you're talking about a program that is run by the provinces. Safe Supply is not that's run by the federal government or authorized by the federal government. It is at the request of the provinces that these programs run. I will take responsibility for a lot of things, Mr. Rao, but I'm not taking responsibility for something that the province is responsible for. What I do want to talk about, if I may, is...
So again, sorry to interrupt, I would pass on the time to my colleague, Mr. Gill.
Unfortunately, there are only 10 seconds left, MP Gill, so I doubt there will be an answer.
Well, I'll make it very straightforward question here. Do you know the leading cause of death for children in BC?
Look, I think there are a lot of things happening, but I know fentanyl is amongst the top.
Yes, so
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's all the time we got.